I've got a problem for you.
These students are taking part in an activity to develop their questioning skills for solving problems. Here they've been given a problem, but some of the key information is missing. The student's task is to identify the missing information by asking the teacher questions.
So I'm going to give you maybe 2 or 3 minutes just to think by yourself, and then we can start to think about discussing with each other what questions you think you might need to ask, and then you can start asking me.
So we were all presented with this problem, so it was shown up on the board as a diagram. We were then given out the sheet of paper and suggested to look at what we were given and then to have a quick think on our own.
The first thing I wrote down was perpendicular question mark, intersection question mark, and just loads of different ideas that it could potentially be before I actually started with the question itself.
The first section where they were thinking by themselves actually just gave them permission to just do some independent thinking, to get them going through their normal internal processes of examining a problem and working out what they didn't need to know, but then also externalising those questions. Is anybody ready to ask a question yet in terms of what information might help you?
Are the two lines joining the two parallel lines, are they perpendicular to the parallel lines?
So you assume that's another question in terms of trying to find out more information. If they're perpendicular, what does that give you? So we put them in a position where they have to ask questions to be able to make progress on the problem. So they're talking, then they're actually exposing the bits that they don't know or they think they don't know, and others can feel more comfortable with regards to there are things that they don't know and need to find something more out about.
Once someone sort of suggested the first thing, you all started thinking, oh, does this work? And then once you've got sort of 2 or 3 questions going, then you can start to build up a sort of idea of what you're meant to do, and then it sort of went smoothly on from there.
You can work out the gradient of the line if they're perpendicular, because you can do you can work out the normal, the negative reciprocal.
Right. So if you've got 4 right angles sitting in there, then you've got a rectangle. So, and you know the properties of a rectangle. So that's one bit of information. Is that enough information? If it is a rectangle,
then we can assume that the second line would also
absolutely
be
right.
10.
Well, you don't need to assume that. You actually know that now. Is that still enough yet?
Not yet.
No.
Are all the coordinates integers?
Why did you ask that?
Well, because it would help you to narrow down some of the results. So you could try and think of some coordinates for B and put them in, and if they're integers, it makes that a lot easier to choose which ones to use.
One of the key elements that came across very quickly, which I was surprised about, was that one of the students asked, well, are they integer coordinates? And of course that was part of the information that I was going to give out. So we've got 2 bits of information here, integer coordinates and perpendicular lines. That's given us enough information to get there. Now, anybody want to go a little bit further and see if they can find the equation of perhaps line AB? I thought they coped with the instruction pretty well in terms of going through the process. They quickly understood some of the things that they needed to define further, and they were asking some good questions to try and define the problem further, but I still needed to guide them in 1 or 2 small instances.
It's nice to know that knowledge you've learnt through the years can be used in context of other things.
Don't just treat every section of maths as an independent section. They can be interlinked together within a question. So if you've got to a point where you're not sure how the topic is relevant, maybe look at how you can bring another topic in to aid or assist you in gaining the answer.
And I think with practice of applying problem-solving techniques that bring in lots of different techniques, you'll get them more able to call on resources that they already have, but maybe weren't quite sure that they had.